Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to be discussing my prosthetics class at Blanche Macdonald, and I'm also going to be touching on my final projects because my final projects really reflect what I learned in my prosthetics class, and I also had the same instructor, so I'm going to be discussing them in one video. When I went to Blanche, I really didn't know what I was going to be doing in prosthetics. I didn't know what the process was of making a prosthetic. I didn't know anything about that, so this was really like legit all new to me because I didn't even know what all went into it, and so much goes into making one piece. That's something that I didn't even expect. It's just like so much work for one thing. When I went to prosthetics, there's so many like precautions and all that stuff. We went right into life casting, and you don't have to do this. It's an option if you are claustrophobic or whatever. You don't have to. I obviously did because I wanted like a cast of my face. So that's what we first did when we got into class. There was just so much that went into this one little thing, getting like alginate poured over your face. It was so fun to like go through that experience. So if you are going into prosthetics, just do it. You're only in it for like 10 minutes, it's fine. To clarify what a life cast is and what this whole process was, is you put alginate over your face and then you seal it with like rock, I guess, and then what that comes out with is a negative of your face. You fill it and then you get a positive of your face, so then you can work off of your face and then you can sculpt on it and create your piece that will, I mean, it's made for your face, but in class we kind of put it on anybody. I'm not going to go through the hows, the whys, the whats and all that stuff because that's information that I learned, and I'm not going to give that out on the internet as of now because I've only done it once in the classroom at one time, even though I had helped out with a couple other girls, like putting this stuff on them, and you know, you're hands-on with it. There are instructors and TAs there, you know, assisting you and helping you and showing you what to do, but a lot of it is hands-on and you're doing it. Because when you're out in the real world, this is what you're going to be doing. You're going to be doing this to actors and, you know, whoever that needs a prosthetic. What I did with my piece was actually, I wanted to, and this is something that you really got to think about. When I created my piece, I wanted it to look real. I wanted it to look like something that could possibly be made for something. I didn't want to do any sort of exotic creature amphibian thing. I wanted to do something that could have been an extension of a human being, and that's why I chose my like Buffy brow, and that's what I started sculpting because to me that made sense. It took me a long time to actually sculpt my brow, and it was starting to look really big and bulky, but it was my first time. It's trial and error when it comes to this kind of stuff, and you know, you learn a lot sculpting. And once we started actually pouring the gelatin, oh yeah, the prosthetics that we were doing were gelatin prosthetics. They weren't foam latex, they are gelatin. It was a lot of work to actually sculpt my sculpt. I worked on my forehead piece, so I blocked out my forehead piece from that life cast that we made, and that's what I started sculpting on. And mine was getting a little bulky, and I changed the look of it a couple times, and I finally had a design that I really liked. I wanted my character to be pretty and feminine, but still like gory and kind of gross, and that's why I chose to do a vampire, because I grew up watching Buffy. I love Buffy, and I just thought what a great way to, you know, kind of end my time at Blanche than doing like a Buffy kind of brow. So that was the whole sculpting phase, and that took the majority of the class time because it's your first time doing it. It's the first time sculpting, it's the first time pouring all this rock, it's the first time doing any of this stuff, and it's a lot of work, like in a workshop kind of work environment, like a studio kind of environment, and you're gonna get messy. You know, you gotta wear old clothes because you're gonna get rock everywhere, just everywhere, and I'm fine with that because it was so much fun. When it came to actually pouring the molds, there's just, like, we had to make the gelatin, mix it all up, figure out how to tint it. We each tinted our own gelatins, and I had to match it to my model skin and all that kind of stuff, so I had to find a model pretty fast. So thank you, Jenny, for being my model. I probably poured, like, I'm not kidding you, like 30 molds. Like, not molds, but like, yeah, molds. I probably poured like 30 times because mine kept just not pouring the way I wanted to, and I wanted to get it perfect. I'm such a perfectionist, and I finally got a piece that I kind of liked. So, you know, this prosthetics takes a long time, and it kind of tested my patience. I was like, oh my god, I was getting a little testy, but I made it. When it came to application, there is so much that goes into it. You have to like seal it, you have to put Prosthetic down, you have to get rid of the eyebrows, you have to do this, you do that, acetone this, and seal that, and blah 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 blah, and then paint this, and there's just like so much that goes into it, and I wasn't even aware. I just thought you just slapped it on and you're ready to go, but no, no, no. Well, I didn't think that, but I'm trying to be funny right now. It's not really working. But I loved applying. The first time I applied it, it was kind of just like, it was not working out. I was not having any of it. I was really trying, but my teacher's like, you're your own worst enemy, and I know I am, because I'm such a perfectionist and I want it to be right the first time, and I try and think things through so much prior. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and this is the next step, and sometimes you just gotta go for it. So this was it was a learning curve for me, because I really had to like take a step back, take my time, calm down, read back through my notes, and figure it out. Before our actual final exam, all of this work in the class, by the way, is up to the final exam. So on the first day, you figure out what you want your final exam to be, and everything leading up to that is for your final exam. We also had a couple of days where we practiced putting on like little cuts and stuff like that. That was just for, you know, fun application kind of stuff. And then when it came to our final, I did bring my model in one day early because I needed to practice on her. I needed to figure out if it fit, I needed to figure out if the color was right, I needed to figure out all this stuff. You only had 3 hours for the exam, and it's kind of nerve-wracking when you gotta figure all this stuff out. So bring your models in. This is one thing, don't be scared to bring models in. If, you know, you have an odd number of people in your class, bring a model in, you know, like just work on your model, because that's who you're gonna be working on. Don't wait on other people. For my final course, I did the Buffy brow, and it looked absolutely gorgeous. I did do, I spirit gummed her brows up first of all, and then I stuck it on. I painted it. I did airbrush it. I airbrushed Revlon Color Stay all over top of it, and that kind of like hid everything. My edges weren't perfect, and my piece was a little bit too big for her forehead because I had a bigger forehead than her. But overall, I think it looked really good for my first time doing it. I mean, I applied it on her once the day before, and then this was the second time, and I think for my second time, I think I nailed it. I mean, you can't, like, I'm not going to knock myself because I'm really proud of myself that I was able to sculpt that. I was able to make it from scratch, like from nothing. It was just so much fun. So that was prosthetics, and for my final exam, we were 5 hours. You can do whatever you want. You have to create a character. I think you have to do like, I think there's a certain amount of things you have to meet and a certain amount of expectations you have to meet, but I kind of took inspiration from Courtney Act and her Klaus Nomi runway look from Drag Race, and I kind of went with it. I was like, I want to do a glitter ball cap because I really like doing ball caps. I did it for my special effects final, and I want to do it again. So I decided to do a glitter ball cap, and then I created the costume out of construction paper, and I wanted to just burn the shit out of her, like just burn. So what I did gelatin burns, and that's kind of, it's the same gelatin that I used for my prosthetic. I just had extra of it, and that's what I did. I do have a vlog of me actually making it. I did vlog during this time of me doing both these applications, so I will link my vlog channel down below if you want to go see kind of the work that went into my final exams. My model was such a sweetheart. She was so nice. She had to sit for 5 hours, so props to you. Yeah, glitter ball cap. Put the ball cap on, painted it all, put glitter on it. I did use too fine of glitter, so it literally just got like everywhere. But I think the overall concept of it was really neat because she was just all burned. I prosated all of the gelatin pieces on her arm, and I thought it looked really cool. The paint job could have been a little better, but I'm always hard on myself because I always want to do the best work that I can, but whatever. When it came to pictures, the ball cap was actually slipping because it had been on her head for 5 hours at this point, and I was using a latex ball cap, which I do not like latex ball caps at all. I think she was gorgeous. It was kind of like this 1920s, like Germany kind of feel to it. I thought it was really gorgeous. I was so proud of it, and it was one of those makeups that I'm like, this is the last one I'm doing at Blanche, and I'm really proud of this, and this is just like a representation of who I am and my work, and I love it. All of it just came from my brain, and I fell in love with every single one of the makeups I did at Blanche.